Am I wrong for ending a 20-year marriage because I learned my wife cheated on me while we were dating? That is the question of this poor man who's just found out some terrible news. So, my wife and I, she is 44 and I am a 43-year-old man, have been married for 20 years. We started dating in high school when I was a junior and she was a senior. We were long distance for her first 2 years of college while I was in high school and did 1 year at community college. Then we went to college in the same city for a year and we've lived together since. We got married the summer after I graduated college. Our marriage has been pretty great so far, but I initiated a divorce after I discovered that she was sleeping with multiple other men for the 2 years we were long distance. Just after Christmas, we got together with a few friends of hers from college to catch up, have dinner, hang out. We talked about a lot of stuff, and my wife mentioned that we met in high school. Not that we dated, just that we met. Her old college roommate commented that it was crazy that we met in high school, had a few wild years in college, then ended up together. I played along and commented that I didn't know if my wife was as crazy as I was. The roommate started to tell a story, but my wife cut her off and said that she was uncomfortable about it. I sensed that something was up, so I said that we actually started dating in high school and were together for my wife's entire time at college. All of my wife's friends got real quiet and the rest of the dinner was awkward. On the way out, one of her other roommates took me aside and said that I should have an honest conversation about what happened at college. I asked my wife on the way home and she kind of blew me off. I told her it was important that she was honest with me, and again, she said it wasn't important. When we got home, I told her I was going to stay at my brother's house until she was ready to talk about what happened in college. The next day, she came over and admitted to sleeping with several men during her first 2 years at college. She said she didn't consider it a big deal at the time because we were long distance, and she didn't think a high school romance would last. I pressed for more details, and she said it was at least 10 different men, including at least 3 guys she introduced to me as friends when I came to visit on weekends, and 1 guy that she was still in contact with. I told her that I wanted a divorce and would be starting the paperwork as soon as I could, which I did on January the 2nd. For context, this was posted back on January the 8th, 2024. Her family, and most of my family, is telling me I shouldn't throw away my marriage over a few mistakes. I've stood by my belief that cheating on me with multiple men for years is unacceptable no matter when it happened, and the fact that she continued to maintain relationships with these guys right in front of me was an unacceptable amount of disrespect. We have 2 children, but they are 17 and 19, and I believe they will understand why I need to end the marriage. Am I wrong for leaving? I feel like I'm going crazy with the amount of people telling me to overlook years of infidelity and decades of lies. Okay, before I give my thoughts, OP has actually answered quite a lot of comments down below, and they provide those answers a lot more context, which I think is important. So let's get into that. He says, the reason I posted this is that my wife and a few friends have been saying it's common to sleep with other folks when you're in a long distance relationship, and that I'm kind of the odd one out for not sleeping around. I felt like I was being gaslit, but I wanted an outside perspective. We live in a state with a waiting period to finalize a divorce, so I felt like it was a reasonable idea to get some insight before things are finalized. After these comments, I see a handful of folks saying it's normal to sleep around during a long distance relationship, but it seems to be a significant minority. Yeah, from my point of view, I've never been in a long-term relationship, but it's definitely not normal to cheat on your partner just because you're in a long-term relationship. That's not a thing. If people want to make it out to be a thing to make themselves feel better about their infidelity, that's on them. Second point, we saw each other a couple of weekends a month during the 2-year college period. Okay, so relatively regularly then. I lived about 3 hours away from her college, so it was long distance, but not like cross country. This was not a situation where we went months without seeing each other. Again, even if you did, wouldn't make the cheating right, but the fact that you were seeing her twice a month for the whole weekend, for 2 whole weekends, right, is a lot. The 3 guys I met while she was in college were meetups that happened during parties. The subject of me being a boyfriend didn't really come up, so I honestly don't know if these guys knew anything. The one guy we're still in contact with married a mutual friend from college. This is not some guy she secretly messages on the side, it's somebody we've talked to regularly for years. I've talked to him a few times since I've learned about my wife. He said he didn't know we were dating at the time and has since blocked my wife on social media. Wow, that's pretty telling. Some folks have asked how the roommates didn't realize at our wedding that the timelines didn't work out. The main reason is that my wife and I had a very small ceremony with just close family in Texas, then went back to the East Coast to have a big party with friends. The typical reception / sharing details about how we met stuff didn't really happen. So her roommates didn't realize we started dating before college. It sounds like they thought we only dated for the year we were both in the same city, then moved in together. I don't really buy that personally, because it doesn't matter how long I've known somebody, I'll ask the person that they're with, oh, like, how did you guys meet? When did you meet? A lot of the time, right? That's a pretty normal thing and question to ask. It's like a normal topic of conversation. So for those people to have not realized that, and you to have been married for 20 years? I mean, maybe it's got to the stage where you've been married so long and they just know you're together, like you wouldn't ask your friends that you've known for so long, how did you meet? Because you expect to know how they met. I just find it weird that it's got to this stage before any of them have realized that you actually met in high school. Maybe I'm jumping to conclusions there, but I feel like they're hiding something. Next point. I was open to therapy or some kind of attempt to save the marriage, but her insistence that this whole thing is common and I'm the one who's out of line is just too much for me. Yeah, fair enough. The only time she showed any remorse or even offered to reconcile is when I started filing paperwork. In the last week, she's gone back to saying she's right and I'm overreacting. This is also why I'm feeling like I'm being gaslit. It seems obvious that this is a major issue, but I've got my wife and others telling me it's normal and that I'm overreacting. I'm not getting a paternity test unless my kids want to get one. I don't have any doubts that they are biologically mine, and no test will make them not my kids. I love them more than anything in the world, and my wife's infidelity won't change that, even if one or both of them is not biologically mine. They've been my kids for 19 years, and they will be my kids until I stop breathing. Also, we were definitely exclusively dating at the time. First, dating culture was a lot different 20-ish years ago, and exclusive was kind of the default for most people. Second, we had a long and difficult discussion before she left for college about continuing the relationship long distance. She specifically wanted to stay together and even joked about her dad coming after me if I started sleeping around with girls at my school. Finally, at my senior prom, she was not able to attend and was very upset when I proposed going with a platonic female friend of mine. As a result, I ended up skipping my prom and hanging out with her instead. While we never said the word exclusive, I think the above reasons, combined with the general relationship before she left, are enough to assume exclusivity. And finally, based on some comments here who were pretty much saying to OP, by the way, you're only getting what your wife has told you. You need the full picture from other people. He says he followed up with the friend that said I should have an honest conversation. She told me that, quote, 10 guys would be on the low end, and that her biggest concern was that there was apparently at least one pregnancy scare that I didn't know about. I honestly don't really think that changes much. It's less about the number for me and more about the fact that she seems incapable of recognizing why this was wrong or why I feel betrayed. Thank you all for the helpful responses, even those that disagree with me. I would still be open to therapy if she's willing, but I honestly feel like it would be more about us being successful co-parents and finding closure than saving our marriage. Well, how about that for an introduction to r/am I wrong? The answer for me is absolutely not. I don't know what you guys think. Let me know in the comments down below, but I completely agree with everything OP has said. I don't think that the fact that this was 20 years ago, or actually way more than 20 years ago to be fair, when you're in high school, what's that, like 25 plus years ago, makes that much of a difference, because she still did it. It wasn't just a one-time thing, it was a long period of time. And obviously the most important thing is that still to this day, she thinks that you are the one that is overreacting and that it's very normal to cheat when you're in a long-term relationship. That's just not a good reaction to what you found out at all. I would be completely shocked by this, and I agree. It feels like you've been lied to for 20 years. It's also not just the cheating. She cheated, lied to you, and then maintained contact with some of her F buddies and introduced them to you as friends when you went to visit her. That's just disgusting. And also the fact that she is still in contact, or at least was until they blocked her, with one of those F buddies. and she knew about this obviously the entire time. Like, it's horrible. Anyway, get your comments in down below. The beauty of this subreddit is that it's a very simple question. Am I wrong? And I want to hear your thoughts. For me, this was quite an obvious answer, but maybe you guys disagree. You know, it was a long time ago. I just think the reaction is the worst thing about this post. Let's move on. Am I wrong for shazamming a song that someone didn't want to share the name or artist of? Oh, that is an interesting question. This happened yesterday. My boyfriend and I were throwing a little kickback for my birthday party. His cousin, Alexa, who is 19, set a timer on her phone because we were baking pastries. Her timer went off and a song caught my attention. We were already done in the kitchen, so we were just sitting down, letting it play on the couch, and I asked, "Who's this artist?" And she flat out ignored me. I asked her again, "I've never heard this song. Can I have the name?" That's when she told me that if I don't know, then I just don't know, and that I should just stick to mainstream. I told her I listened to everything, but she tried to tell me that she knows my music taste, and all I listen to are stupid rappers, and named Kendrick Lamar as an example. We got into a little debate about King Kenny for a while, and she told me that the song was made by a small artist, and trying to decipher his lyrics might hurt my shallow mind. I got fed up and I shazammed the song. It was Mary Alex G. When she saw me saving it to my playlist, she got up and snatched her phone, then stormed out. I ignored her little tantrum, but then her brother came to me and asked what I did to her, because she told everyone I was being argumentative with her, bullied her, and violated her privacy. When I said I didn't understand how anything of what I said came off as bullying because we just talked about music and I shazammed her song, her brother actually agreed with her and said that was invasive and weird for me to do. They packed some plates and left abruptly, and I was just left feeling so weird about it. Everyone else stayed, and I enjoyed the rest of my party. This morning, my boyfriend's mum texted me and said that I should probably call her niece, aka Alexa, and apologize for going through her phone for a song and using some hacking device. What is going on? She texted me Alexa's number to apologize, and I texted her, "Don't get hung up on petty things." Next thing you know, her big brother is calling me. I've not answered my phone yet, and I've got like 5 missed calls. Is Shazam invasive, and am I in the wrong? Okay, firstly, a little edit. My boyfriend just called his mum to explain the full story, and she just started laughing because Alexa completely twisted the entire situation, and she's trying to tell everyone I hacked her phone just to make fun of her music and try to force her to listen to gangster rap. My boyfriend just called his cousin, Alexa's older brother, and told him not to bring her over anymore, and now she's crying. She sent some paragraphs that I'm not reading. She's actually blocked until she apologizes to me. This little girl is a compulsive liar. I just can't believe so much drama's happened because of a song. I'm not going to let this ruin my birthday weekend though. And then, a couple of updates. Firstly, this was sooner than I thought it would be, but my boyfriend just handed me his phone with her on the line, crying and apologizing. She said her behavior was because of PMS, and she's sorry for starting drama on my birthday. I honestly think she just got embarrassed for getting caught in her lie. Everyone knows that she stretches the truth too, and when she got a little backlash, I guess that was too much for her. And a final update, I heard another side of her story from my friend, and apparently when she stormed off, she was telling her that I snatched her phone from her to hack into her phone. She is a full-blown liar. And of course, everyone ignored her, except for her brother. Shake my head. My head actually hurts. Well, that was a pretty obvious no, you're not in the wrong at all before we even got to the updates, and then the edit and the 2 updates made it 100%. What is she doing? I know some people are like that, by the way. I don't think this is one of those people. It doesn't seem like she is one of those people that gatekeeps songs and their musical genre. Maybe she is. I think, to be honest, she's more just like weird, and I don't know. Maybe she was in a bad mood, or she was actually, like, you know, dealing with a period, whatever. I don't think it's an excuse to just make up loads of lies about somebody and then set the family on them. But I know some people genuinely are quite gatekeepery with their music. I don't really get it, personally. Like, unless you've made the music yourself, is it like that amazing to have found this niche track from a niche genre? Like, it's not your music. Let me know in the comments down below. That's a bit more of a contentious one. But as for this girl, also, I will say this. The fact that the song is actually on Shazam itself shows that it can't be that niche. Like, if it's an unreleased track or a really old vinyl or something, maybe it's not on Shazam. And that is one way of saying, well, yeah, look, it's not on Shazam, you got to deal with it. I mean, I go to sort of music events and I try and Shazam songs sometimes, and I don't get an answer because either the song's unreleased or it's too niche for Shazam or it's just not on the software, whatever. But yeah, let's go back to this situation. Obviously, you're not in the wrong. And I also love the fact that you didn't back down 1 second when she was upset and you're just like, no, I just tried to Shazam a song. Simple as that. All right, I think we've got time for one more Am I Wrong question. I had an unexpected threesome with my best friend and my boyfriend. Am I wrong to feel extremely betrayed by them both? Just the other night, I was hanging out with my best friend and my boyfriend in her apartment. It started out innocently enough with us playing games and watching movies. Then we started playing Never Have I Ever, and the questions were pretty sexual. She then asked, never have I ever had a threesome? And both me and my boyfriend said no. Her entire vibe then changed to the point it was scary, and she looked at us both. She said, what if we did something crazy? I kind of laughed because no part of me could have ever fathomed what she meant. But then she scooted closer to my boyfriend and started kissing him. He wasn't stopping her. I just froze. It felt surreal, like a dream and a nightmare. There they were, making out like it was the most natural thing in the world. I think I had a trauma response of sorts and kind of tricked myself into thinking this was normal. I can't explain it, but it's like my brain wasn't ready to feel the extent of what was happening, so it tricked itself. They started undressing each other, and on instinct, I undressed myself too. This isn't a sex sub, so I won't go into the dirty details, but a full-fledged threesome occurred between us. The next morning, I woke up at first believing I dreamt it, but there they were, naked on the floor together. I still couldn't process what the heck occurred, so I just kind of ran out. When it finally hit me, I had a full-fledged breakdown. I've gotten calls and texts from both of them asking if I'm okay. I've not responded. I can't respond. I've thrown up twice from the intrusive memories. I didn't want this. Why did I go along with this? Why didn't I stop it? Why did she start it? Questions just keep swimming in my brain. I don't know what the heck to do. The last text from my boyfriend was, I hope you aren't upset. I think that was such a special event in our relationship, even though it was insane. He's knocked on my door and I haven't opened it. I have no idea where to go from here. I still love him, but I can't look at him the same. I mean, I freaking saw his D go in and out of my best friend. Not to mention her, I feel like I've been betrayed in the most disgusting way, even though I let it happen and participated. Am I right to feel like they did wrong in the worst way? Okay, now there is an update to this one as well. Hey guys, I figured I should add this to my post rather than respond to a bunch of people with it. I met up with my boyfriend about the situation. In a nutshell, this is what I got out of him. I asked a lot of questions. 1. No, he hasn't been sleeping with her the whole time. That night was the first time. Or so he says. 2. He didn't actively want to sleep with her, but he wouldn't have said no either. He put this down to being a horny guy. 3. He thought the vibe was super sexual even before she came onto him, and that he expected it to happen and thought I did too. He mentioned how sexual the questions were, and her straight up saying we were turning her on with our answers. She did say this, but I thought she was joking. 4. He didn't push her away because he thought it would be a fun experience for all of us. 5. He admitted to being turned on by her boldness and doing it in front of me. 6. He thought that if she did it so easily, it meant she and I talked about it beforehand and that's why we invited him. And 7. They didn't have sex after I left, but they did express regret over possibly hurting me, and he left as soon as he could. Wow. I asked if I could see his phone to see if he'd been talking to her. He admitted that they did message a bit after the ordeal, but it was nothing serious. I asked if I could see, and he got kind of panicky, which made my heart drop. He was like, let me remind you that I was still in the mindset that it was a special moment for us. So I knew I was going to get sick from what I saw, but I needed the full truth of the situation, so I asked anyway. He showed me their DMs. They went something like this. She said, let me know if you get in touch with OP. I will. Can I be honest though? He replied. Of course. Last night was the best night of my life. Me too. I feel bad that OP might feel bad, but God, it was so hot. I'll be sad if we can't do that again. You're everything OP said you were. She talks about me like that? I'm embarrassed. Yeah, all the time. I low-key wanted to see for myself. After that, he started complimenting her sex skills and stuff, which I quickly skimmed over because I knew I'd get sick if I fully processed them. I skimmed over the rest of the conversation really because at this point I just couldn't handle seeing anything else of that nature. I scrolled up in their DMs and only saw occasional memes and reposts, so I'm pretty confident that last night was the first time. It still doesn't make me feel better though, considering while I was having a literal breakdown, they were complimenting each other's sex skills and bodies. I told him to leave, and he begged me to forgive him for everything, but I told him to go and F her again since he loved it so much. At this point, I'll probably block them both and just focus on healing and moving on, because I know I'm not the kind of person to get over that at all. Thank you everyone for your advice and support. It truly made me feel worlds better. Wow. Okay, I think we have probably seen enough from this subreddit for one day. Those 3 stories were very interesting, and that last one, I mean, just wow. Are you wrong? No, absolutely not. Now, what I have done is I've gone back over the entire history of the subreddit and picked out some of the most upvoted, therefore some of the best posts of all time. So it's pretty unlikely normally when you do that sort of thing that you're going to get posts from people that are actually wrong. So maybe in future, if you guys like this subreddit enough, I can do more current posts, but goodness me, that last one is crazy. Wow. Let me know your thoughts down below. Did you enjoy this subreddit? A brand new one again. I did one the other day, r/casual conversations. You guys seem to really enjoy it. And this one is brand new as well, at least to me. I've never even come across it. I've been trying to find some more new, at least for the channel, and interesting subreddits, and I think I found 2. I mean, I'll hear your thoughts, but I really enjoyed that, and I hope you guys did too. If you want more, check out the episode from the other day, r/casual conversations, and I will catch you very soon with hopefully some more Am I Wrong content.